let us simply do yoga. Draw your spine up straight. Bring yourself to class. Join your palms. Listen closely to the sound of your breath. Quietly bow to this practice. Release your hands. Raise your head. Open your eyes. Stretch your legs. Okay. So first things, get the cat toys away. First things, with some kind of support. It could be a bolster, could be a blanket. Adho Mukha Virasana. So your forehead is supported and your forearms are supported, at least a little bit. This is a bit wide, but it could be a bolster width or so. Knees apart, toes together. Support the head with that blanket. This is why it should be higher than just one blanket. Vidya, add height. Closer. Breathe and study the extension, particularly at the hip joints, pelvis, groin, sacrum. Now, you're going to lift yourself up a little bit with the arms and see if you can lengthen the ribs and waist forward, drawing out the length. So you might even have to push your blankets an inch or so forward. Grow. Now come up to Adho Mukha Svanasana, tucks your in, props away, palms forward. Now, we've established some rules in the past week or two, lengthening through these long bones, stretch them end to end toward each joint from the middle out. So this hopefully tucks the bones securely in their sockets. like this upper arm bone is lengthening toward the shoulder socket. From there, from a straight, lined up set of joints and bones, expand the joint evenly. Reach that arm away from the spine, keeping the arms long. Then when you come up into dog pose, lengthen the leg bones end to end. This tucks the thigh bone toward the hip socket. Feel free to raise the heels to get more complete extension. Lengthen the shins, lengthen the thighs up to the hips, just like the arms. Lengthen the vertebra as if they were long bones like arms and legs. They still have some length. Open, extend the bones, and expand the joints. Release, come out to half Uttanasana, meaning raise that spine up horizontal, or at least arm's length from the floor. If you need bricks, get bricks or a chair, but straight legs, straight arms. Once again, all your long bones are running parallel to each other. So stretch all of them. You know, all of them means 2 forearm bones in each arm. So that's 4 forearm bones and 2 upper arm bones. So that's 6 arm bones, all of them stretching long. Likewise, 6 leg bones, 2 in the lower, 1 in the upper. Stretch them all from end to end. And then open those joints. Lengthen that spine. Now, with bricks, without bricks, walk your hands back beside your feet. Stretch your arms and your legs, then exhale, bend your elbows. Keep the legs stretching, keep the hip expanding as your spine releases down. Keep the legs stretching, lengthening. Now, some of you might, in fact, be having a good time. If you are, take your hands further back behind your fingers, still forward, Leanne. Yeah. And then as you stretch your arm down, palm to the floor, that arm, wait, you should come up and watch for this last one, everybody. The completed Uttanasana. We've already established ground rules for this. The arm has to extend from the spine, from the neck. That's where the arm extends. So when you go, we've just been here with bricks or without. So now we're going to come up. Look how that arm stretches back away from the spine. And then With an exhalation, I see if I can expand my joints.
Wow.
I don't care how far back you go, but you see the process. Leanne, you're close enough to it. The feet could be close together, but get the hands, yeah, behind your heels. Start on the fingertips. And from the fingertips, don't try to push the spine down. Just stretch that arm away from the spine, away from the neck. And then just follow through with the complete forward bend. This is to say, try to move the palm flat. And that will draw your spine more deeply into the forward bend. You get that?
Here.
Do come out of the pose if you get cramps there. This is telling you that you're pulling you're pulling the pose from here. So this is a very common way of doing the forward bend. And it actually looks a bit like this is what I'm doing when I stretch back, even though I'm not. You do not push your abdomen towards your thigh. What you're doing is stretching the arm and lengthening the spine, lengthening. So there's no grip across the diaphragm. If you exceed your capacity, you'll start pulling it from the abdomen. If that happens more than twice, stop, because you'll just put a crimp in it and it'll stay crimpy for a while. So don't pursue that.
That was very helpful, though. I think that's
okay. If it lets go the abdomen and really stretches the limbs, that's what I want. Abdomen soft, diaphragm soft. Good. Let go. Everybody, keep your legs stretching. Hands to the hips, inhale, come up. Buttocks down, legs stretch. Okay. Oh, I should have known. She's got her own spot.
She likes her spot.
Not my spot. Okay, so we need Gomukhasana. Have a strap, and I think you'll need 1 or 2 blankets, because we're going to wind up sitting, but we'll stand first. Can you tilt your cameras up so I see your upper body? I need to see the top part of you. I know I have a good long view, so I don't need to see your feet yet. I need to see your upper part. Okay. All right. First things first. Stand in Tadasana. I'm going sideways, easier to see, but you can face the camera. Stand there, stand straight. Lengthen your bones. Don't grip the abdomen here, Gay, either. It's a tendency. Okay, I had it too. take your arms up, interlock your fingers, stretch up, pull up, tall through the waist, tall through the waist. Stretch, your right side, very cautiously, don't go far. It's not, in fact, come upright and catch the wrists with the hand and pull it long. That's just linear. Now, when you start bending, make sure you're pushing on the inner foot, coming up through the inner groin, inner abdomen, and back to the center. So don't make it just a skin stretch. You've got to make it be, it starts being on the outside and you shift it to the inside, side two. Catch, linear stretch, and then make it a bit more three-dimensional. One side may do much differently from the other. Come out. Now, strap. Yeah, just hold it, palms up, hold it behind you. And in holding it palms up, you will actively spin the arm externally, right? You start palms up, but actively roll the arm externally. Now, the belt is down low-ish. Stretch the arms, forearms, upper arms. They lengthen from the center toward the periphery. Anchor in the joints. Even those shoulder blades have to now move, helping the arm away from the spine. Now move the arm back, away from the collarbones. Reach back, away from the spine. Palms facing up, but roll that upper arm to the other way. So watch again, some of you don't want to roll the arm, sorry. You don't want to roll the arm this way. The palm faces up, but you roll the arm as if you see my inner elbow. Face it, okay? The inner elbow outward. The belt keeps your palms from turning too much, but you spin the shoulder. Okay? And reach the arm back, making every effort to keep the joint open. Then come out. Okay, so hang the strap half and half over your shoulder. Gomukhasana. Your right arm comes up, way up. You can even help it come up. And then from the elbow, it bends down. Don't think about the strap yet. Just point those fingers down and point the elbow up. This arm stretches away from the spine, away from the skull, and it comes around. and it works its way up. Expand the joints. Now, if you don't touch, catch that strap, both hands. Gomukhasana, push that elbow up and get the extension from the inner heel. Make contact with your head. Keep the sides of the neck long. Now release, come out. I'm not looking at your back, but your fronts look good. How many of you got the hands close or touching?
Touching.
All of you. That's nice. That's a good number. 100% of the sample. So side two, take these, if you, every side is different. So I'm always one to keep a strap hanging. I have a history of shoulder injuries. So if something goes wrong, I just take the support of the strap. Okay. Anyway, it is not necessary to use it. Just keep it there. Left arm up. Now you do that strong pull from the inner heel. And even in this extension, this arm has to move away from the spine. And even as this hand is coming down, this arm stays away from the spine. The flow of muscle is away from the spine. The down arm away from the spine. Open that armpit. Open across the shoulder blade. All this musculature, the movement comes away from the skull, away from the spine. Stretch that elbow up. Keep it in close and don't harden the neck. Go away from the neck and stretch tall. Very, very good. Release, come out. Now, Vidya, that right elbow is a bit wide, which means there's some residual something in the right shoulder. Is that true? Is that your mouse hand? Or some such? Anyway, this is a sign of a stiffness, is when the elbows are going laterally, when the upper arm is able to come in parallel. Both upper arms run parallel to each other. The joints are more open, but I'm saying with injuries, this is difficult. Oh, lovely. So Vidya is just a thing. You fixed it. Unless you made it hurt.
No, I was confused when you said move the arm away from the spine. I thought I had to move it.
Well, from its root you move.
Okay.
Not from the middle. Where does the arm start? Really, the arm starts in the mind, but structurally it starts in the spine.
Okay.
And Birju Mehta, the teacher, I sort of learned some of this procedure from. He said, extend the arm from the neck, which is a big piece of real estate, that neck, right? It's three-dimensional, it's not linear, right? It's a round thing. And your arm is attached on the back of your neck and the side and the front. your arm is attached all around your neck and all up your neck. So it's not a point he's talking about, but that's the word he uses. Okay. Take, here we go, a chair. You're gonna want a chair, I think. And if you have pointy, sensitive elbows, you can put a sticky mat on the chair seat. Now, we're gonna take Uttita Trikonasana before we go back to Gomukhasana. So my feet come apart and I line up essentially with the front edge of the chair seat. And then I turn to the right and I stretch my arms away from my neck. And I go reaching for this pose, away from my neck, away from my neck. Lengthen the leg bones, seating the thigh bone in the socket, and expand those joints. Come to the chair. Go farther out on the chair, keeping this side of the trunk long. Now your arm can go up or back. The only instruction is keep it gotten away from the neck. Come out. Now, you may need to pull this chair in closer because I'm going to say bring your elbow to the chair. Look, you may want to widen your stance if the legs will permit. Now, you got your elbow down. Get your hand to the chair. Take a wider stance, gay. Lengthen, put your, yeah. Now, if you can, prop your head up.
Oh, that's nice.
Fingertips, and relax your abdomen. And stretch that top arm. Now super stretch the arms and lengthen that lower spine, the one that is supported ear to hip, right? Lengthen and let it go. And straighten your arm, lengthen. And inhale, come up. Turn your feet. Bring your feet together, change sides. I hope that was an extra stretch. Was it? Yes? No?
Yes, it was.
What I'm looking for in particular, you know, I misspoke saying line this up because you absolutely need to be able to get your elbow down. And if it is too much to bring it flat onto that chair seat, then you get a brick when your elbow comes down. So you're a little bit higher supported and you can have a better time. Okay. So be upright for a second. And correcting my earlier statement, get this foot under the chair. And stretch your, lengthen the limbs. Turn left leg. Go back back to lengthening the limbs. Keeping those thighs in the sockets. Expand the socket to come down. Come out on that chair. Walk out on that chair. Go long on that chair and let your elbow down on that chair and lengthen your stance and get longer. Support your head so this lower section of spine can lengthen. Lengthen from the left hip through the ribs, through the armpit. Now you have to stretch those arms, stretch your top arm, expand, go away from the neck spine, stretch your legs, extend the spine. You're gonna remove the support of the left hand, so don't let your neck get sore. Lengthen actively through that left ear. Release the left hand, stretch the left arm again, coming out of the pose the way you went in. Back out now. Inhale, come up. Turn the feet. Bring the feet together. So, I would like you to do Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, so it's going to be not full Trikonasana, but you see I take a short stance and I'm facing forward and I bend the knee and I take my hand down, okay? And I attempt to face you. And then I come up. Now my hand is on the floor and I'm going to extend it to the floor. And then I'm going to extend my leg straight. This leg comes back toward the plane. Okay? Palm on the floor. Walk your hand more forward, Pratima. Yes. Get a long stance. And stretch that right arm to the floor. Vidya, you might step a bit away from that back wall. You can't lift your head. Make sure the head can come up. So it doesn't matter if your foot hangs off the end of that wall. Good. Gay, that's looking expansive. Vidya, that looks good too. I hope you're too close to the wall. There, it's the other way. Back away from the wall. Much further. Yes. Okay, please change sides. So Vidya, place your hip close to the edge of that wall. Close, not exactly. No. When, let's say this is that edge of wall, put your hip here, foot here, here's the corner, and your hand is just beyond it. And you go up. So your back leg has plenty of room. Yes. And you can catch that corner of the wall with your arm That's it. Take your top arm up and hold the corner. Hold the wall. Yes. Fatima, that's right. Stretch the bottom arm forward, left arm forward. Yes. Open that waist. Now roll your trunk up so you face the camera. Stretch the left arm, stretch the right arm, and come out. Bend the knee, come down sideways. All right, so let's see. Good. Now, to the best of your ability, can you sit in Vajra? This may require blankets underneath the shin. Let me show how you should support. If you have trouble with ankles being very stiff on the floor, you need to support the whole shin. So here's 2 whole blankets, just hanging my feet off the end, letting if your problem is the ankles, if you don't have an ankle problem, but instead it's that your knees don't like bending, then you put the blanket between the heels and the buttocks. Leanne and Gay, can I see the floor now? The camera needs to shift so I see. Yes, sorry, you too. Well, everybody. Okay, so Gomukhasana, kneeling with your shins as close together as possible. So what that means is, see if your ankle bones can get in between the buttock bones. That's pretty close. Okay, stretch the arms up. Keep the right arm up. Help it get longer. Bend the elbow. Take the left hand back. Extend that arm, whatever one it is, away from the spine. Now, lengthen that spine. Release the grip in the abdomen. Gay, may pay particular attention. Anybody else with that tendency? There are many of us who have a tendency to hold tension in the abdomen. Now, release one arm at a time and come out and rest for a second in this neutral position. Now, if this gets awful on that ankle, you may take different support. You may shift to, I understand, the brace may not be sufficient, yeah? So an option is Virasana so that none of the weight is on the foot, but you'd have to have enough height for it to not be a problem. Side 2. Left arm up. Help it. Help that chest. Help that abdomen up. Help that shoulder extend away from the neck. Keep your lumbar spine long and your abdomen soft. Take the hand down. And then release the other arm from the neck from the spine. Constant, watching, strapped as needed. Buttocks down. Don't lean forward. Don't lean back. There's a natural opening to the chest. There's a natural slight back bend, but you want to make sure that it stays long. Release, come out. Now, Adho Mukha Svanasana, stretch your legs, but you're coming back. So don't abandon ship, just do dog pose. Stretch those knees. Very slightly raise the heels so you feel that ankle hinge open. Make sure that ankle is comfy. Knee, hip. And release, come out. Now you'll need some form of blanket support. And my view is not too wide a fold. You need the width of the blanket to be about your hip width and not wider. So I just refolded my blanket in thirds, so it's kind of narrow, but not too narrow.
Is it like a book?
So, and you might need more than one, so just, okay, watch. I sit. Right leg crosses first to the left, so the knee points forward, straight forward, so it's not lined up with its own hip. It's lined up, if possible, with my pubis, and this heel is next to my opposite hip. This foot crosses over and keeps crossing over and keeps crossing over until the one knee gets on top of the other, and you're still sitting on your support. Bring this heel in. If parts of this are off kilter, like you find yourself askew, straighten up. Take your left hand to the left knee, right hand to the right knee. Don't crisscross, and push those knees so they are vertically over each other. And then tuck this top heel back and fix it on the sticky mat. Now, if that's awful on the ankle, you rest that ankle as necessary, including taking support under it so it doesn't get bent, right? This helps straighten. The ankle won't feel curved, right? You make sure it is comfortable. You're not trying to aggravate connective tissue. You have one knee that's up, one knee that's down. The up knee is the down arm of Gomukhasana. Okay? Just so you know. Up arm, down hip. Down arm, sorry, up knee. Both hips are down. Be level. Lengthen the bones. Soften the joints. Turn toward the lifted knee. Turn back to the center. Turn away from the lifted knee. Back to the center. Can you come forward? If you're on too many blankets, coming forward is difficult. One blanket is fine. Don't irritate your shoulders. Come up. Release. Help your legs out. Scoop them out like a forklift. Stretch your legs in Dandasana right to the toes and see that those knees are running in track again. You got to lengthen your bones. Side two. The left leg crossing first, crossing so well that the outer heel gets in line with, or the heel gets in line with the outer hip. The other foot crosses over, so you've got shin resting on knee, and you just cross, cross, cross. Go by stages, and eventually the knees get help, and the foot comes in. Sit on both buttocks. That's the tricky part for most of us, sitting evenly on both buttocks. So this is why we take height. So this knee is up, this arm is down. This knee is down, this arm is up. Just so you remind yourself. Turn. Take the hand down. Open the chest. Extend away from the spine. I think Gomukhasana is an underrated pose. Turn toward the lifted knee side. Turn back. Turn away from the lifted knee side. Turn back. Now, if going forward irritates the shoulders, don't do it unless you can find an alternate action that does not irritate. Don't drop the top elbow. Extend. And come back up. And release. And release. And stretch both legs. Help the legs do what is necessary. Make those knees clear. Lengthen the bones. Okay, so that's pretty good, Gomukhasana. Now, we have another hip thing to do. A strap, possibly a brick. Sutta Padangkushtasana 1 and 2. Here's a brick. Yes, you can see my head. Here's a brick right next to my right hip. So the middle of the brick where my thumbs are is right where my hip is. So you come up with that right leg. Lengthening your bones. Take your right leg to vertical. And really lengthen that thigh bone and shin bone. Now, before you go farther, you want to really stretch the arm from its root. So open that arm even at the shoulder. And let the leg come off to the side. Expansive. Arm and leg. Straight arm. So walk out that strap, expand. The leg is going to rest on the brick, so both the arm and the leg have that brick support. Stretch the leg, lengthen those limbs. The way to come up is by extension and expansion. And release, come out. Side release, come out, Leanne. Get ready for side 2. Left leg up. Left hand holding. First the shoulders on the ground. And the left leg is vertical. Then you hold the strap with the left hand and reach that left arm away from the neck towards your foot. Yes, you get very extended in that arm. And then exhaling, take your right leg off to the right from that big extension. Keep your arm extended. Don't bend the elbow. You shouldn't need to. You took care of that slack right before the leg went to the side. Reach out. Is your ankle comfortable there with that belt pressure? Good, good. Lengthen your bones. That stretch is from the center to the periphery. So both joints on either end of that bone should feel seated correctly, lined up correctly. When that happens, the joint, it's not a mechanical act like stretching the bones is. That's muscles. But expanding the joint is pranic, is like bioenergetic, not biomechanical. Expand the joints. So extension and expansion come up. And let go, release, come out. Put the put the brick aside and change it out, in fact, for a wooden brick. Anybody who's got a wooden brick, get a wood or a firm brick. You want a firm brick. It's just more secure. On your back, you might use a strap, but I'm think you'll need it. If you can catch your ankles, you don't need a strap. Oh, sorry, you will, but for something different. So keep a strap handy, beg pardon. Stretch the arms, lengthen those bones already. And it lengthens back to the shoulder socket as much as it does out toward the hand. Then expand the joints. Now you're coming up into Chatushpadasana, starting with a big stretch of the arms. And as the hips come up, everything else spreads. Everything else you can put your mind to. That means your vertebra. Lift those ribs, spread the ribs, lengthen the pelvis bones, lengthen the thigh bones, lengthen the neck bones, all bones lengthen. Press the arm down, lengthen the shin down, pick those hips up, hips up. All right, come out for a second. Watch. Now I'm on my tippy toes with my metatarsals long and the ankles all stretched. And I'm holding my feet and I'm trying to go up. Now, because I've made my shins longer by inches, my hips can go up higher. Not necessarily by inches, but they can go up higher. Stretch your arms. Lengthen the ribs. Make the biggest arc you can. Tippy toes. Go up, roll the shoulders. Lift your shins. Lift your knees. If it strains the knee, walk your feet out. If you can't straighten that ankle, pratima, because of the brace, don't do because it might strain the knee. Lift your hips. This is good. Now, come out, rest, watch before you get tired. Here's my strap. And I'm going to shorten it. So it's something like hip width. I want to make a little bit of a sling. Do you see this? I put my fingers through it like this. Fingers through. And this goes under my hips. Sling. For some of you, this will be enormous. For others of you, it won't make any difference. If you've got more, put your hands under your buttocks. Then let your heels down. Elbows in, reach those arms, shoulders down, shoulders on the floor. Yes, shoulders down. Don't break the wrists, stay, but get those shoulders down. Upper arms down, side ribs down. Good, come out. All right, go to, you understand, in Chatushpadasana, in Setu Bandha with your feet on the floor, in theory, your hands should be on your back like they are in shoulder stand. They aren't really, but I mean, actually, when you see BKS Iyengar, do I have him in that? No, it's in like on yoga, but when he's in the full pose, his hands never leave shoulder stand shape. That's just an intense chest opening. So when we're up here, most of us, if you watch this, most of us are lifting this in a kind of plank-like straight line way, when in fact, what needs to happen is it needs to become rounder. And I can't tell you that I'm the perfect example, because I'm most certainly not, but you see how you have to expand that. And you're not doing anything but lengthening your bones and expanding your joints. You can't get there any other way. Please try it again, with or without that strap. With or without. Now, if your knee still hurts, gay, stop. Or put your feet on a chair.
Oh, this is okay.
All right. Roll those shoulders under. Get the arm bone on the floor. Open those side ribs. Okay. Everybody seems like you're improving. Get the hands. See if you can. I know you've got long arms, Leanne, but so does BKS Iyengar. It's just getting those ribs to spread. Get those ribs to spread. You too, Kay. Lift your chest ribs. Now, come out, please. That's good. Have a little rest. Then put your hips on a brick. All of you will fit. Hips on a brick. Oh, tall brick. You all got your, no, tall. Tall, tall. Yeah, get on those tippy toes. Yes. Yes. Come on, one more. That's it. Relax for a bit, and then one more set to make sure you're on the lower sacrum. Okay, is your back feeling good here? Good.
Yes.
Good. Anybody who cares to can extend the legs, but the extension has to be done everywhere. You can't, you know, I misspoke when I said extend the legs. You can extend everywhere, including the legs. Vidya, that looks good. Do you feel comfy?
Should the toes be pointed or straight up?
There's both could happen. Okay. Now you extend through the back of the heel and back of the leg. That connects a certain way.
Right.
Now your bricks are foam and they're a little bit tippy. So when you extend with your toes, your bricks are going to tip more unless you push with your hands. Those hands, you've got to keep your, this is why wooden bricks are best.
Yeah.
Because you're tipping. And that absolutely changes how your sacrum is set.
Right.
Turn them 90 degrees, Leanne. Turn those two bricks 90 degrees.
I think. Oh, you mean this way?
Yes,
Oh,
spine wise.
yeah.
Then go.
Okay. That's better.
Oh, now it's work. Yeah, it's a bigger back bend now. You cramping?
Yeah. My right leg.
Okay. Okay. Now, slowly come out. One leg at a time, one movement at a time. Be at rest. You can stay there with the knees bent at first if that's more comfortable. And then we'll get 5 whole minutes of Shavasana. I never do that. So please be careful setting yourself up in Shavasana. Be, as long as you have 5 whole minutes for it, take that first minute to make sure that the skin of the back body is properly arranged on the floor. The buttocks are not folded or pinched. The sacrum flesh is spread. Low back, long, spread. Shoulders flat on the floor, but spread. Yeah, Leah?
Sorry, can we do legs up the wall, Shavasana?
I think legs on a chair, Shavasana.
Okay.
And face the chair away from you, so you feed your shins through it backwards.
Okay.
Now, with that chair, Shavasana, make sure the thighs, the hips are far enough back that you feel the hip socket relaxed. If you try backing away from the chair just slightly so you feel a partial traction.
Yep.
Now, if that's too much, it's unpleasant. If it's just right, it is just right.
It is just right.
So you don't want to set up the wrong kind of tug on the sacrum. It's just got to release the hip. So there's the musculoskeletal letting go. Muscles, ligaments, tendons. Ungrip the organs, ungrip the bones. Letting go of all the outward activity of the body. You're left with the metabolic physiological, energetic activity. Thought activity. So as you quiet the muscles down, also quiet the interaction, the conversation you're carrying on. Get settled so you are listening and not so much commenting. Let the pores of the skin open. They become sensitive to that bioenergetic flow. And there is a coordination of that flow with the flow of breath, the movement of breath, the feeling of the currents around the skin changes with inhalation and exhalation. Now it's time to come back. I hope you are well.
Devon, I love that class. I feel so privileged. I learned so much. Thank you.
Yes. It was a great class. Just great. Thank you, Devon.
Good. Namaste.
I feel like I should shower you with gifts.
Yeah.
Well, shucks. Thank you too.
Good.
Thank you. See you
Namaste.
Wednesday.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Devon.